Okay, so now we are on to my second ranking. This one is only out of 8 because I actually struggled to find 10, which is very strange. This is my romantic ships. My romantic relationships. There is a separate one for platonic. So again, for me with this one, there are sort of 4 that are like my OTPs. They are my ships that I crazily ship. They are the ones that I'm rooting for out crazy. Then the bottom 4 are either ones that are kind of fledgling ships, or they're ships that could have been, or they're, you know, ships that failed. So number 8 for me is perhaps one that might take people by surprise, I don't know, is Caitlin and Ronnie, back season 1 of The Flash. I remember being so invested in this. I know people were shipping her with Barry, but the whole, you know, the tragedy of her having lost her husband was very sad to me at the beginning, and then the whole thing of, was he alive? And I remember all those emotions, and then, you know, he was alive, and they got him back, and they were able to save him and make him fight a storm, and they were able to get married, and they were able to just be, that was everything to me. I was so rooting for that relationship, I was enjoying it so much, and then they killed him off, and I was very sad. So like, it never made it into full OTP level for me, but it was just, I remember it being a ship I really enjoyed, and that was at a time when I wasn't entirely sure of the Barry and Iris situation, kind of because I was worried it was going to be one of those ships where he was in love with some idealistic version of Iris, etc. But it did not, Best Island did not become that. But I mean, Caitlin and Ronnie for me was a ship that I thought had a lot of potential, and I'm really sad that, you know, Caitlin has just had a string of failed relationships since then, but I'm sad that her one with Ronnie did not work out. If only Crisis could have fixed that. Next we have a ship that literally nothing happened on the show. It's merely one that's in my brain that I'm like, and I know a lot of people have seen it, a ship that should have happened in my opinion, which is Alex and Sam in Supergirl season 3. Because, okay, yeah, they never clarified as Alex being bisexual or gay, but they never clarified Sam being bisexual or gay, Alex is gay, but I think they, you know, it was at the beginning of the season, yeah, the beginning of that season, I'm trying to like work my seasons out, or in the middle of that season. Yeah, no, at the beginning, I'm getting so much. It was at the beginning of that season, where Alex broke up with Maggie, her fiancée, because she wanted children. We then see her over the course of that season bonding with Ruby, and, you know, like being there for Ruby, and like any of her interactions with Sam were really fascinating. They had this real spark, I think, that is kind of lacking with Kelly, and I think big part of my problem with Kelly's and Alex's relationship is just that it basically happened off screen, and so I don't feel like I've watched the development of it, so I'm trying to get more invested after the fact rather than during, but that is a side thing. I do like them, they're just not on this list. But I think Alex and Sam would have had so much potential, because in a way Alex would have got the kid, but I think also Sam probably would have been open to having another child, like adopting a child with Alex or something, or using a surrogate or whatever. I think Alex was looking into adoption, and I think Ruby would have loved having a little sibling. I don't think she would have been the sort of kid that would have been thrown by that particularly. And I just feel like they could have been such a good family unit, and like I enjoyed Sam and Ruby, their relationship, I enjoyed them as characters, and I would have loved to see them stick around, but they didn't, sadly. But I think that is kind of, we could have had it all ship. That is a missed opportunity ship. And I think it also would have solved this problem of Alex has made it very clear she wants kids, and then now she's just doing nothing about that. Like, that's one of the things that bothers me in shows, when they have a character express a desire for something, and then they're just like, we forgot, no, it doesn't work. Because in a way, having Sam, okay, yeah, Sam was like a busy CEO of a company, or like, you know, she works high up in companies, she's busy, but they would have been able to have, I don't know, a nanny, Ruby could have babysitted if it was a slightly older kid, but Sam being like Alex's other half would have been a good way to have someone caring for the kid while Alex was off doing DO work. It would have been a child that they could have, I mean, I'm getting a bit down the line here, they would have had to be together for a little bit before they'd got a child together, but, you know, Alex would have sort of thought, well, you know, if something happens to me in the field, I'm not going to abandon this baby, it will have another parent. And I mean, maybe she and Kelly will get to a place where they will adopt a kid together, and then that will also solve my problem, but I really do think Alex and Sam could have had it all. So then we have number 6, and again, this is a ship that I think Batwoman is hinting at, but again, nothing has happened, and if they just become really good friends, that is totally enough for me. I'm not someone that reads too much. I don't normally ship things before they properly happen, but I have seen signs with Luke and Mary from Batwoman that I would love to see develop them into a romance. I mean, like I said, I would also love it if they just became best friends. I have no need for it to be romantic, but it also, you know, it would be nice. These shows tend to have a lot of romances. We have Kate's romances. This would be a good one to have. And I think, like, they're sort of so opposite, but also similar, you know. They're both so smart and brave. Neither of them are great fighters, but they're both kind of on the Batwoman team now. They're both kind of caring about Batwoman. And I think they bring something, they each like complement each other in a way, even though they're so different. And we have seen moments, you know, like she was there for him with his father's trial and very comforting, and they've had little moments that have set my little brain off like, ooh, I could ship that. But like I said, I also do just ship them as platonic, you know. If I made this show in this list again in 2 years and they're not romantic, I hope that they're on my platonic list because I really enjoy their dynamic together. So basically I am just hoping that they become best friends or romantic, but my best friends list is very long. So I don't know, I love their dynamic and they're very intriguing. So number 5 is Kate and Sophie. The reason this is number 5 and not higher is because the A Batwoman is still new, so they're still developing. But right now, if in the next episode they were to get together, I wouldn't be screaming and crying about it. I mean, I would be happy because I don't think that they're in a place yet to be together. There are still, both of them have to grow as characters. I think Kate is more ready, but Sophie is only just figuring out that she wants to identify herself as gay, that she's only just figuring out her identity in a way. Kate is dealing with a lot of stuff from Cartwright and all that stuff, but I think the Batwoman reveal is going to be a huge part of that. I kind of hope Sophie finds out this season, or at least very soon. She's already kind of pro-Batwoman, so it wouldn't be that much of a leap for her to then find out it was Kate. But I think, for me, Sophie needs a bit more time with herself. She either needs to jump onto like a no strings attached, no long-term plan kind of relationship with Julia or something, which hopefully both of them will see as being a not long-term type thing, to really feel comfortable with herself, with being seen in public with a woman, with, you know, knowing that if she ever talks to her mother again, she'd be talking about a girlfriend. But I think in the long run, that is a ship that I cannot wait to happen in the fullness of time. Like I said, I cannot wait for Kate and Sophie to get together. I think they would be so good for each other, and I think all that they've been through in the past shouldn't stop them in the future. And I am so excited for them to get to that place where they're ready. But I mean, they're not a ship I'd want to happen until season 2, mid-season 2 at least, maybe earlier if Sophie kind of at the end of the season and into the break feels more comfortable with who she is. But I think there's a lot of pieces that still need to slot into place for them, but when they do, they're going to be magical, and I'm very excited. But kind of, they're only at number 5 because they haven't happened yet and they're not ready yet to happen, and I'm just kind of excited for them. Now next for me, numbers 3 and 4 are pretty much interchangeable. Like it could be the other way around. Number 4 is West Allen, and they're below the other ship because The Flash for me as a show, you know, I'm not feeling as passionate for it as I've said before. But again, they were a ship that I was not really shipping in season 1. I mean, I wasn't against it, but like I said, I have my concerns that it was going to be kind of a Barry has idolised her for years and he sees his perfect pedestal version of Iris, and Iris has no interest in him, and all of a sudden she's going to get a magical interest in him. Like, I genuinely had concerns that they weren't going to do it in a way I would enjoy, and that didn't happen. They did do it in a way I enjoyed, and just their love, I mean, sometimes I think the whole thing of like, they are the most perfect couple in the world gets a little overdone in The Flash, and like in the Arrowverse they talk about them as a, I mean, they are a perfect couple, don't get me wrong, I love them, but sometimes I think they play on that a little bit much, but I also just think it's true, so I don't mind. But they do just love each other, and you know, they're each other's lightning rods. But the whole coming home to you song I love, but just I've really enjoyed watching their love develop. I enjoyed watching Iris realise that she did love Barry, as not as a brother. It had not been that kind of love, that it was different. And Barry, I like as well that he, you know, he tried Patty, like he tried dating somebody else. I did actually really like their relationship. You know, I feel like he and Felicity had a little thing at one point, and he didn't just sit there pining away, or he didn't ever put any pressure on Iris, or, you know, be like, I've loved you the longest, I deserve you. You know, he just was respectful, and they found their way to each other, and that is everything. And I love their little family. I mean, okay, Nora's sadly no longer with us, but she will be again. And I think I've just enjoyed watching how strong their love is, and how they are someone that I want to just take and like show all other showrunners you can still make a couple interesting even if they're happy. They've been happily married for series now, and like we've seen this season there's been relationship drama, and it hasn't even been real relationship drama, but it has seemed like real relationship, you know, they've been able to do it. It's happy couples don't ruin TV shows. Writers that cannot write happy couples ruin TV shows, and I think they are perfect because they have fights along the way, they have disagreements, but their love is the strongest thing, and it's so nice to watch a couple like that, and to see that the Arrowverse can do it if they put their minds to it. So number 3 for me is Olicity, and again, they were a couple that I remember in season 1 seeing people shipping them and being like, I mean, are they actually going to do that? Because they're kind of putting him with Laurel at the moment, and it would be kind of weird if he was with Felicity. And like, I enjoyed Oliver and Laurel, but I never felt particularly passionate about Oliver and Laurel. And then by the end of season 2, or by mid, I was like, okay, you know what? I think during the beginning of season 2 I was like, I can see why people are shipping them. Like, there actually is a lot happening here. And then by the end of season 2 I was sold. And, you know, again, they would be higher, but actually no, they wouldn't be higher because my next 2 ships I do like more than them, sorry. I love Felicity, they're the 3rd on my list, okay? Is that I really enjoyed watching them fall in love, and I think one of my favourite things about them is that that was a real case of, it wasn't, like, Felicity wasn't even supposed to be in the show. You know, she was just supposed to be in a couple of episodes as a tech support, but not only did she create so much to give so much to Arrow, but their relationship, their chemistry, their unexpected chemistry, that's what, so it just felt real because they were so unexpected. The writers didn't expect it, but it wasn't like they were just caving into fan pressure because it worked, and they had a chemistry that Laurel and Oliver in the show never did. And I am truly sorry to anyone that is a die-hard comic fan or anyone that watched season 1 and really wanted it to be Laurel and Oliver, because I can understand that. If I had been crazily shipping them, I would be not happy. But I think it happened in an organic way. I think Laurel and Oliver in the show had a lot of baggage that could have been unpacked, but at the same time, both of them, I mean, Laurel should have been happy with Tommy or someone, but she is now, actually, isn't she? Oh no, she's not. She was. I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of kind of stuff there, but I think Oliver and Felicity were just fresh and that's real. They had this real chemistry, and I really, really enjoyed watching them over the course. I think what would definitely stop them from being an OTP that was like number 2 above the other Arrow ship that is number 2 on my list is the whole mess where, like, season 4 and they broke up and all that kind of, like, the writers messed them up too much. They managed to, like, irritate everyone. I think if they had been a West Allen style relationship where once they were together, they just were together and they had their wobbles, but they were together and it was smooth, I would have been even higher with them. But they just were so unexpected and such a magical ship, and I know they cause a lot of drama, and, like, I'm not, it's just my opinion, but I really enjoyed them. And I think my favourite Olicity was Family Olicity. It was them with William. It would have been them with Mia. In my brain it's them with Mia and William raising them happily ever after. But that, I just enjoyed seeing them together and kind of seeing them just being together and happy, and the way they both changed but they both grew and they complemented each other and they supported each other, and I love Olicity. So number 2 might be a slightly unusual one to have up this high, but Thea and Roy. They were my first OTP in Arrow. Like I said, season 1, I liked Oliver and Laurel, I was kind of rooting for them, but I didn't feel it. And Oliver and Felicity, it was later that I shipped them. So by the end of season 1, I was crying my eyes out as Thea and Roy kissed, as the lamp explodes behind them. It was a lot. I was a mess. And I just connected to them. I mean, I didn't, like, again, it was kind of over the course of their story. I really loved them. I think he was so good for her in the sense that he helped to show her that there was more to the world than the bits that she'd known, that maybe kind of, like, yes, she had struggles, but there were other struggles, and that maybe she could kind of open her eyes a bit more. But she also showed him, like, she didn't just let him get away with that, you know, she didn't just let him be like, oh, no, I've had a hard life, poor me. She was like, yeah, deal with it, like, you've had a hard life, don't need to be a criminal. Like, she held him to a standard, and he helped her kind of grow, and I think he was a pivotal part in Thea's growth. She probably would have got there anyway, like, she would have got there anyway, but it was Roy that helped. And I think they were such a good couple. They just belonged together, and, like, they did have brilliant chemistry, still do. And just seeing them kind of, they went through a lot of stuff. They were both hardly in the show in the later seasons because they left, but it was something I always enjoyed. They were magic whenever they were on screen together, and I loved the show for the fact that they let their love be something that never disappeared. You know, Thea tried dating other people at various points. Who knows what Roy did when he was away, but they loved each other. And the final, like my favourite part of the finale was that rooftop scene. You know which one I mean. I'm trying not to spoil it, although I think I already have. They just, they were everything to me. I shipped them so hard. And I think the fact that they were my first Arrow OTP, and the fact that they just made me happy, that, you know, okay, they weren't in it very much. Maybe if they'd been in it the whole time, they would have been maybe a Listy, but, you know, Listy's almost number 2, but it ended up at 3, and Thea and Roy are my number 2. Now, I don't think anyone can guess who my number 1 ship is. Actually, I'm pretty sure if there were, like, odds, the odds would be, you know, you would know us betting on it. Korra and Monel are my OTP of the Arrowverse. They're one of my favourite ships in anything ever. To be honest, they could be up here and the rest, and, like, Thea and Roy down here and the rest of them down. Like, they are just my ship. And I wish I had done reactions to season 2, but I did not do my channel yet at that point. I was still a very insecure person, being like, it's too self-conscious to film myself. Why would anyone watch me? And I still think that, but now I just kind of do it anyway, and then, you know, yeah. Korra and Monel are everything to me, and I think, I remember early season 2, I saw the beginnings of their relationship, and I can remember being like, I can't ship them. If I ship them, they're going to hurt me. They are not going to stay together forever. They are not going to be happily ever after. It's going to cause me pain. I must not ship them. And I held out, mostly. I was like, okay, I'd ship them a little bit. And then the whole Monel was kidnapped and Korra saved him, and then she gave herself up, and then I was like, okay, I'm struggling. And then Medusa happened, and that kiss. I remember going on YouTube straight after and watching every fan video I could find. I was like, I've gone deep, I've given in. And after that point, I was as crazy as the rest of you. Crazy caramel mouse strippers. Like, ugh, I loved them. And I think, again, they were something that I thought was so beautiful because, yes, she was his inspiration to change, but I think just being on Earth and around a different culture would have helped him change. You know, if he'd landed on Earth and bumped into Lex Luthor, he might have had bad influences on him, although I think Monel's inner goodness would have triumphed over that. But, you know, I think she didn't let him get away with it. When he did something that was a mistake or was wrong or was selfish, she was like, bad, that was wrong. But at the same time, I think some of what he said to her was, again, he didn't say it in the best way, but I do think it's true that the Kryptonians were a little bit self-righteous. The Kryptonians were a little bit like, we are the perfect race, we are the perfect people. Like, I don't think they were like racist or like, you know, going around enslaving people, nothing like that. But I think they were kind of a little bit too much in self-belief, and she did she found out that they created the Medusa plague. She found out that, I mean, I'm pretty sure, wasn't it in Supergirl lore at least, that their experiments destabilized the planet and that's what destroyed Daxam? But she kind of is able to see that while like her initial response is all Daxamites are terrible people because that's what like we Kryptonians have learned, she was then able to kind of see that, yeah, Kryptonians are great. I don't have to dislike my people, but maybe we're not the morally or the most superior race ever. I think in some ways he was good to kind of humanize that a little bit for Korra. I mean, I say that Korra is wonderful, so that wasn't a huge problem with Korra at all. There wasn't even a problem with Korra, but I think he helped her see another perspective on things, and she really was the inspiration for him to change. But I think also for him, I mean, as characters, they just had this chemistry. They were just drawn to each other. It was cosmic. It was just, it was everything. And one of my absolute favourite things is the fact that it was Offset too, that they were just drawn to each other, and that we still get to see them at their, I mean, I'm okay if they barely share any of their lives with us, you know, if we see nothing from them ever again on social media, I respect that, but it's so lovely to watch their love, and they're gonna have a little baby, like literally, they make me believe in love, and that sounds sappy, but it's true. So on the show, their chemistry was undeniable, and their characters pulled towards each other. Neither of them were particularly like keen to jump in because they thought it was going to end in misery, and it almost did in the middle, and then it did in the end. But they were just such a strong couple, and their love for each other was everything. And seeing how they both grew as a couple, you know, Kara grew in her confidence as a person. You know, Kara grew in her confidence as being Kara Danvers, as having a life outside of Supergirl, an identity outside of Supergirl. That's something Monel really helped her with by just being there. And he was someone that was there for her, that if at the end of the day she'd had a terrible day, he would be there for her. He would be offering her support and telling her that she could do it, and that, you know, she was strong enough to keep going and to keep fighting. And I really missed that in the show. I think that was a real spark of magic that has been taken from Supergirl. We still have a lot of the elements of Supergirl, but not that spark for me. The end of season 2 was a nightmare. I was sobbing my heart out. But I had hope. Beginning of season 3, I was reacting to, so you can see my reactions. But I truly believe they were going to find their way together, and I'm pretty sure they were. If you watch the end of season 3, the finale does not fit. Like, them in the finale does not fit with what came before. And I did make a video before season 4 started where I discussed this. And I'm not a fan of the writers. I genuinely think that they led fans on in season 3 with how they did. I mean, if you look at episode 21 of season 3, the one where they're in Argo City together, and then the next one where her mum's like, oh, I really like him, and he says to John, or Win, sorry, I think it was, I can't lose her. And the next episode, they're just like, see ya, so long. Does not fit. So I'm still genuinely like, that devastated me. I'd been kind of psyching myself up for it. I remember seeing people saying that the finale was a letdown, and I'm still really upset with the writers for doing that, but they have not tarnished my love for Korra and Monel, and the 100th episode was everything. I've already talked about it a bit, like seeing them together, seeing her go to him for advice, his advice was everything, seeing them do the superhero landing together, it was everything. And for me, they are the end game, and I don't care what the show does. I really hope the show does bring them in as an end game. I mean, I would love it if Chris were to join the show again. And maybe, you know, if they were on set together, they could have their baby on a little crush, and then they could, you know, they could all be together on set as a family. But in general, I mean, it didn't seem like it was Chris's choice to leave. Maybe it was, and maybe he may have told them suddenly, but again, if it was, I respect that, because he's got so much abuse. No one, don't send abuse to any actors, people. But for me, I don't care how the show ends, Korra and Winona will end up together at the end, because you do not have a relationship like that one and not have it be endgame. And that would be like, you know, Barry and Iris break up and then just don't end up together, and you'd be like, after you set the... So yeah, that is my favourite ship. Next up, we have my favourite platonic relationships. And I think I have been talking for a very long time, so I might try and rattle through these a little bit quicker. At number 10, we have Kate and Luke. Now, they are at the bottom because they are, I mean, they're the core of Team Batwoman, but they're very new. And I think they're only just finding, like, building up the great trust and bond that they're going to have throughout the show. We kind of, I think, in the most recent episode, episode 17, because I don't know when this is going to come out on YouTube, we really saw the strength that them kind of breaking barriers, you know, her admitting to what she'd done, him talking about Batman, and I think they were able to be vulnerable with each other and to see each other's darkest points, which is really going to help them with the bonding, and I'm really excited to see more of their relationship, because I do want to see more of Luke, and I'm very, very excited about that. At number 9, we have Kate and Beth / Alice. Now, for me, it's kind of Kate and Beth relationship, both them as little girls, Kate what we saw with Beth, but just in general, the Alice part too, just that whole dynamic is fascinating. I love it. It would be higher if we had Beth, like if Alice was Beth, and I just had a sisterly bond, but I love it. Like, it's, I mean, everyone agrees, but lots of people I've seen say that Alice is the best part of Batwoman, and I think it wouldn't be Batwoman without her, and I agree to that, but I also think Kate and Mary are my favourites. But that relationship is fascinating, and it's heartbreaking as well, because there is such a sense of what should have been and what could have been, and even seeing Beth was like a wake-up call to what could have been and should have been, that I just find that so interesting. And I think if Alice remains out-and-out villain, that relationship will probably slip out of my platonic interest, but I'm just so excited to see where it's going to go next. Then we have Korra and friends. Now this for me is specifically Korra and Nia, and Korra and Win. Korra and James as well, I guess, but I think because they almost dated, it was always a little bit odd. But those in particular are just, I'm loving, like, Win, I'm sad that he's gone, but I loved their friendship. I think season 1 Win, I wasn't a huge fan of, because he had a little bit of that, I've been in love with you for years, I deserve you mentality. Once that went away, I loved Win a lot more. But Nia and Korra, I cannot wait to see more of their friendship. She is the best friend Korra truly deserves, and I'm so excited to see more. Then we have Barry, Iris, and Nora, their little family unit. I loved that. I think there were lots of ups and downs with it, especially because if you're suddenly becoming parents unexpectedly, it's a lot to deal with. But they suddenly became parents to an adult, so there was a lot of bumps, but I really enjoyed seeing that. And I remember all of Barry's speeches about how he didn't want to, you know, he wanted to see all of her first, and he didn't want to be taken from him, and thought that he wasn't going to be in her life. Like, I really enjoyed that dynamic, and I'm still sad with how that season ended. Then we have Oliver and Thea. I love their sibling relationship. I've touched on it before. It was bumpy. It had its ups and downs, but, you know, that moment when she runs down the stairs to him in the pilot, to the last moment they say goodbye, is everything to me. I loved their relationship, and I think their love for each other never went anywhere. They had their ups, they had their downs, but they were such a good team, and I'm going to miss that. And I think they had such an understanding of each other at the end that I truly loved. Then we have the West Allen clan. Nora could have been part of this, but she's not alive yet, in our sense. So we've got Joe, Barry, Iris, Wally, and now Cecile. I just really enjoy their little family unit. Wally obviously has not been around for much of it, and then he's gone again, but kind of when they're together, they feel like such a warm family. Like, you just feel at home. You just feel like you could pop by for tea and it would just be nice and snuggly. I love Joe and how much he loves his kids. You know, he is one of those dads that you just think, oh, why isn't mine like that? If you're me, if you have a good dad, you don't think that. But, like, I just feel like they're such a real family, and I've been really enjoying, especially this season, Cecile. I think in the most recent episode 17 of The Flash, Cecile was brilliant. Like, I've just really enjoyed her dynamics with Barry, her relationship, and she's been, when she was first brought in, I'm wary of any new character, I should point out. It's not anything specific, but I was like, oh, how's she gonna work? Oh, I don't know. And then now, I truly love it. I suppose their baby should be counted too, but we never see the baby. So yeah, I really enjoyed their dynamic. Then we have Oliver, Felicity, William, and Mia. The whole dynamic between them, now this means Oliver and Felicity, that they're romantic, but Oliver and William, Oliver and Mia, Felicity and William, Felicity and Mia. Like, I just loved it. The minute William was in it, I don't know, maybe some other people didn't like that. I loved it. My favourite moments of that season was Oliver with William. I loved watching them develop, working it out, figuring it out. everything. Felicity and William, I loved that they were able to form such a great bond, that William didn't hold like, you're not my mom kind of thing, and that Felicity was able to be there for him. I loved older Mia getting to meet her dad, their whole bond, their dynamic. I loved older Mia getting to meet Felicity. I love the baby. Like, I just genuinely, it breaks my heart that they're not going to get to be the four of them as a family. Genuinely breaks my heart. Then we have number 3, Kate and Mary. Now, they are a new show, but I love their bond. I think I loved in the most recent episode when Mary talked about how Kate used to defend her when she was younger and how she's always led up to her. I've always said that I think Kate put a bit of a barrier between her and Mary because she felt like, I don't want to replace Beth by getting this other sister, I don't like it. But I think underneath that, Kate truly loved Mary the whole time, and they were sisters, and I'm really enjoying watching the growth of that trust and that bond. And given that Mary now knows who Kate is, I'm very excited to see where it goes next. I'm really glad she found out her identity in season 1. Then we have Korra and Alex, small sisters that I love dearly, and you know, we know from their past that they've had bumps and ups and downs when they first arrived, but Alex has been such a support to Korra, and I think Korra has also been able to be a support to Alex, but Alex is such a big sister. But I just truly, like, they are one of my favourite things that is still in the show. And I'm kind of going to make a little side note here of Jean. I'm cheating a bit by shoving him in here as well, but I also do love their bond. They're like the family bond. But my main thing I love here is Alex and Korra, because they're such good sisters, and they're such different characters, but they're just there for each other, and I love it. And then my absolute favourite OTP is the original Team Arrow. My platonic OTP is OTA, original Team Arrow. Oliver, Felicity and Diggle, which means obviously the separate relationships. Now, mainly with this, it will be Oliver and Diggle, their brotherly relationship, how that developed from him sneaking out the back of the car to Diggle crying because he wasn't there with Oliver when he died. Like, kill me now. Don't, please. I love OTA. Like, they were always the core of Arrow, and it made me sad when Felicity left for that final season, but just those 3 were Arrow. They are what made it the show we love, and it makes me very happy. Okay, so finally, I'm going to go through the 4 shows that I watch and give you my 5 favourite characters. I'm sorry this is going to be a very long video, I feel like, but do let me know your opinions, if you agree with me, disagree with me, how you would rank different things. I would love to discuss it with you. So in Arrow, at number 5 for me is Mia. Mia was a revelation. Again, I was not sure of that future plotline, but I really enjoyed her character growth, and I enjoyed seeing her with Oliver and William, and I'm excited to watch her show. I don't know if I'm going to react to it yet, but I'm excited to watch it. Then we have at number 4, I'm cheating a bit, Felicity and Diggle, because they're OTA and they can both count. I love them a lot. Then we have Thea at number 3, Roy at number 2 and Oliver at number 1. Now that's not a huge surprise as they are the 3 that made it onto my top 10. From The Flash we have at number 5 Allegra. Now she is a bit for me. Number 5 for The Flash, like I said, I love Caitlin and Cisco, but I'm not particularly loving them this season. I don't feel the same connection to them I used to. But for me, Allegra, she is someone that is new, and maybe she won't be on this list if I did it in a year's time. But I'm just very intrigued. I'm enjoying her character. I'm enjoying her growing to learn about her powers. And I'm just excited to see where she goes next. And I think she's bringing something a bit fresh to the show, and that's what we've needed for a while. And I almost put Camilla on here, but I was concerned at the time that she was dead. So I was like, I don't want to get my hopes up. Number 4 for me is Harry Wells. He's my favourite Wells, and obviously a Wells had to be on this list. And Harry is my favourite, and I'm very sad that we don't have him and we're stuck with Nash. Nash, I have nothing like, I disliked Sherlock Wells, he was awful, but Nash Wells I just could not care less about, other than his relationship with Allegra. But I'm sad about Harry, I did love him a lot. Then we have at number 3, Joe, because Joe is Joe. Need I say more? At number 2 we have Iris and Barry, again the 2 that were on my other list. Then we have Supergirl. Now Wynn would be on here, but it helped me out because Wynn hasn't been in the show for so long properly that I didn't include him, but imagine Wynn is number 6. Number 5 for me is John Jones. Season 1, if you told me that, I would have laughed at you because no, I didn't trust him at all sorts. By the end of season 1 I did, obviously. But I love his relationship. I love David Harewood, but seeing the kind of the bond and the growth of him and with Kara and Supergirl and his path has been a winding one, but I'm just really enjoying seeing him. Then at number 4 we have Alex. Now again, Alex and number 3, Alex and Nia, probably could shift a bit, but again, Alex didn't quite make it onto my top 10 characters list, whereas Nia did. So it's Alex, then Nia, then Monel, then Kara. And then finally we have Batwoman, the most recent show in the Arrowverse. And number 5 is Sophie. She would probably be a bit higher, but she's a character that at the beginning of the season I wasn't so sure of, and now I'm so connected to her. I love her. Number 4 is Luke, who again, I'm so glad we're getting more exploration of Luke. I'm just going to see more of who he is and his backstory, and I can't wait to see more of Luke. At number 3 we have Alice/Beth, the whole package, you know, the Beth from the other timeline through to this Alice. I don't like Alice at the moment, partly because I don't tend to like villains, but I love her as a character and what she brings to the show, and if she were to be redeemed I would love her, and if she doesn't she'd be a villain I loved. Then at number 2 we have Mary, and number 1 we have Kate. Again, they're on my other list. So I'm so sorry this video, I think it's going to be very long. I feel like I have been talking for forever. But I love the Arrowverse, and I thought it would be fun to share my rankings and things and a little bit of explanation as to why. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me, if you disagree. No, if you disagree with me, please let me know politely in the comments. No, you're wrong, you suck. But just, I would love to know your rankings and what you think. And yeah, these characters in these shows are so special, and these relationships are wonderful, and I love that we get to share our passion together on the internet. So yeah. Sorry for rambling for so long. If you watched this, well done. Thank you for watching.